Well, hello everyone. It's Lesley Timbol here from Mental Iron. I am back from the Olympia One Experience. Now, I have to warn you guys, this is going to be a bit of a shorter live Q&A because I'm not feeling great. I think it's because of all the excitement, the lack of sleep. But it's good. It's good. I just need to get maybe some solid sleep. I've been taking vitamin C and some a whole bunch of other things. But no, I want to have today as a talk for us to talk about the Olympia. If you guys have any questions about it, I don't know if you saw it. I had a chance to see it live as well as on pay-per-view. So what I mean by that is for the amateurs, what I could do is whatever I saw in person, and I'm probably going to actually pay for the pay-per-view after the fact and watch it later. But with the pros, what's called prejudging happened for the Open on the Friday night after after the girls went. The guys didn't go on until I think it was like 11 o'clock at night, so it's really late. And if you saw them, and I can say firsthand that what I saw when I saw them on stage, and when I saw the pay-per-view, like the screen that you guys would get on the pay-per-view, it's different. It's really different. You can't see all the definitions. So if the guys looked flat on the pay-per-view, the live stream, it wasn't that they're flat. Now, not as flat as that they were presenting. Some of them were a little, could have been more fuller. And one of the reasons for that is it was really cold backstage because you've got, you walk into the back area and it's like an air conditioning is like blasting. You're cold. Then you have a cement floor you're stepping on and that you're standing on until you go on. So you're cold. That can actually flatten you out because it's hard to get warmed up. So that might be why some of the guys were flat, because remember, people have different tolerances. So even though it was equal across the board, where everyone gets exposed to the cold backstage and the cold cement floor, different bodies will respond differently to those conditions. Now, could some, the carb up process have been affected? Absolutely. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. So I want to talk to you guys, and it doesn't have to be about Open. We can talk about 212, men's fitness. Obviously, we can talk about the women. But if you guys had a specific question, feel free to ask. If I can answer it, I will. For the pro show on the for the Friday evening, I did see that in the Zappos Theater, and it was really cool. The Saturday, I ended up just doing the pay-per-view because I found that, in order to get the seats, which are expensive, by the way, the seats for Saturday, even though they were, the way the Zappos Theater set up is really cool. But if you really wanted to see the lines and be more, critique the body a little bit more, not in a judgmental way, but just to assess, who was winning or, who had, bigger quads or whatever. It was hard to see that in if you're further back. So I thought, the pay-per-view, even though it might smudge out their lines, I'm still going to get a better result as far as seeing the show on the pay-per-view versus in person. Again, if you had great tickets as far as your seating of where you are in the theater, that would be definitely the preference to go, but they were pretty pricey. But if you could do it, definitely. And for those who don't know, the Dan Solomon, the day after, there was this meeting of the athletes, and Dan Solomon announced that the Olympia for next year is actually going to be in Orlando, not Vegas. And it's going to be the first week of November. Now, he didn't say the exact dates, but just so you haven't, I'm sure that's going to be posted later, but just so you guys have a heads up, the Olympia next year will be the first week of November in Orlando, Florida. So just a heads up. So let me just see if there's any questions I want to address. Hey, Mel, I'm glad you joined the podcast. That's cool. If you guys have questions, like I said, put them in the chat box. I'm happy to address them. I love to see these names. Dave. Okay. Wow, what a turn of events at the Olympia. Like before, Ram was too loose, and boy, did the wheels fall off the truck. Yes. So about Dave, when I saw Rami first come out, I was like, oh my God. Because I told Dave Palumbo, I said, Rami's not going to win. But then he walked out And I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna eat my words, he's gonna win. But then the moment the comparison started, I don't know what happened to his body. There's now some of the other channels have mentioned something about nerve damage. I can't corroborate that. I don't know for sure, but they said something. I think Nick Trigilli was saying C6 and C8, and I don't know if that was based on a podcast Dave did with Amin, and he was saying that could have been some nerve damage from C6, C8. So regardless, there's some nerve damage. Obviously, his quads they were. It was very distracting to see the divots. What I mean by divot is that it goes down. Initially, I thought they put Rami to the side because he was the clear winner, and they were just comparing other people of who was going to be, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. But what surprised me is they never put him in the middle. And in all of the Olympia shows I've ever seen, and not to say I've seen every single one of them, they always put who's going to win in the middle at least once. And Rami was never there. Now, it's not that I wish any ill will towards Rami, because I don't. But he was not where he needed to be. There was some stuff going on. I don't know if it was stress. I don't know the nerve damage. I don't know if nerve damage can be what he can do, if he can come back from that. I know there was a video that he did saying he's going to come back next year. I don't know how wise that is, depending on what's going on. I would have wanted him to kind of figure out what's going on health-wise first before making a decision. And if he wants to come back, okay, great. We always like a good comeback story. But Hadi does definitely deserve to win. Derek's front and back double is really impressive. Yes, can he bring things up? Yeah, but for his first Olympia as an open, getting second, that's not too shabby if you ask me. And his shape, he has such a nice shape. Nick Walker brought it, no question. He doesn't have the same shape as Derek, but he came in hard as nails, much bigger. He was very solid. So, a third, I hope Nick is not too disappointed. I know he keeps saying I'm going to win the Olympia, but given the lineup, I thought he did extremely well. Now, if you guys have a favorite, I'd love to know your favorite. And again, I'm talking about open right now, but if you guys want to talk about other divisions, just type it in the chat box. Alaric, how you doing, Alaric? Nice to see you. Grunge Truck. Okay, yeah, I thought he won by sheer mass. Now, when you said he won by sheer mass, did you mean Rami or did you mean Nick Walker? Because those were two big guys. Now, the thing is that I don't feel that you need to be as big as Rami to beat Rami. Clearly, because Hadi isn't as big. Now, not to take anything from Hadi because he works his ass off, but Hadi did put on muscle, and he has stellar conditioning. Now, I'm not a judge, okay? Let me just be very upfront. I'm not a judge. I thought actually Hadi should have won, was it 2019? I'm trying to remember what year it was, but I thought he actually was going to win. I'm so happy for Hadi, so happy for him, and I loved his speech. I don't know if you guys had a chance to hear what the translator said about his speech, but how he was doing it for Iran and for the women of Iran, of what was going on there. But to give, the people of Iran some inspiration, which I thought was so nice, so nice. He's such a good heart. You know what? I love bodybuilders who not just, obviously train hard and put their minds and bodies through quite the circus, but they're good people. It's, that they really care about fellow human beings. So if they're bodybuilders or not, they just care. And I think that's a great trait, because I think sometimes we get the impression that bodybuilders, we put them in this little box, that they're meatheads, they only care about themselves. Now, I'm not saying it's not a selfish sport, but I'm saying that they're selfish people all around. Now, are there some people that fit that bill? I'm sure there are, whether you're a bodybuilder or not a bodybuilder. But I just hope the public can get to know that not all bodybuilders are selfish inside and out. And I'm not talking about, again, just in prep. I'm talking about just people. Because I think bodybuilders are pretty cool people, to be honest. I met some really cool people. At the expo, I saw Jamie Johal. I saw briefly Giles Tiger, Thomas. I saw Ron Harris. Rusty's line was a bit longer at Mutant. Andrea Shaw wanted to say hi to, but her lineup was crazy. But, anyone who watches RX Muscle, I want to do a little survey. So if being in Canada, we can't get a lot of the products you guys get in the US. Now that I'm in the US, and especially at the expo, there was a company called Legendary Foods. So I ended up getting a box just to try them out. Now it's a mix. So on the front of the box, it says, I think, red velvet. But I got a mix. I just said, just put a bunch in there. I would love to know, have you guys tried these? So these pastries, let me see this one. Okay, so this is, I don't know if you can see that, chocolate cake flavor. So it's got 170 calories. It's got 20 grams of protein, 24 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat. Now, the carbs, apparently the net carbs is a little different. So it's not like it has it only has 5 grams of net carbs. So be careful when it says that did I say 24? The 24 grams of carbs. And where the carbs coming from is the sugar. So we don't really count that. So if you guys have tried these, let me know, and let me know what your favorite flavor is. Because I've tried, there was a chocolate one that looked like a donut. So I tried that one, and it was okay. I do recommend microwave it for like 25 seconds and then eat it. It makes a really big difference. I really like it. So this is called, yes, chocolate cake flavored pastry. The next one I have is, it's the red velvet, same as the box. This one is blueberry. This one is hot fudge sundae. This one is brown sugar cinnamon. Oh, I love cinnamon, so we'll see what that's like. I love cinnamon. This is birthday cake. This one is cookies and cream. If you guys like Oreos, that would be really cool. I like Oreos. Oh, and I got another red velvet. So if you guys have tried them, let me know what you think. And do you have a favorite flavor? I wanted to mix because I wanted to try different flavors. And then obviously, if you really like them, you can always order them. Because the idea is to get, something that has protein. It's got 20 grams. I don't know if they all have 20 grams in it. Looks like it. But again, the idea is that they are these protein snacks that you can have, especially let's say if you're traveling. I think that would be cool. It's easy to pack. You can have them cold, and they have low carbs. So, I thought, hey, I want to try them. So if you guys tried them, I'd love to know if you have. And let me know what your favorite flavor is. Okay, so did you notice first and second in the open were previous 212s? Yes. And both of them, so Milt, that's a great observation. Both of them are trained by Hani Rambod, who also coached Chris Bumstead from, so Chris Bumstead, I'm not sure if you follow Classic Physique. He won, this is his fourth. I'm pretty sure it's his fourth. If I'm mistaken, please someone correct me, but I believe it's fourth was it in a row? I know for sure he's done 4, and he just clarified also that he is not retiring. So that's cool. So yeah, that there were 212s and they were built. But remember, the structures of the 212, I believe people should, if you want to maximize your body, if your body wants to grow, and Derek's body has always wanted to grow, he had to really suffer to be able to get down to the 212. But then he lost his lines. He lost some of his size. So I'm glad he did open. Hadi has to be careful because Derek is going to be on his tail next year. So we'll see. But yeah, they were both 212s, and I think that's awesome that people can go from different categories, because if your body was saying, I want to grow, let it grow. Let it grow. Again, as long as you're safe and you do all the, you get your blood work checked and all that stuff. And Hani, I would trust that Hani knows what he's doing. I mean, look, he's got all these Olympians. He also, if you know anything about figure, Sid Gillen, he also coaches her too. So he knows his stuff. Okay, so Alaric, I want to be as big as Lee Priest when he was with Twin Lab. You know what? I would settle with being as big as Lee Priest right now. I saw Lee at the watch booth. So he did this S Force at the expo, and he was there doing pictures, and we were chatting, but then there was a line, so we couldn't chat too much. But Lee is such a cool guy. He really is. I know he can be offensive to people and the way he talks, but you know, he has such a good heart. He really does. And he's got his biceps. They're so big, like really, really big. Like he's just, you know, he's a genetic freak, and I say that with a lot of love because I do like Lee a lot. I'm happy for him too. His speech was touching. Alaric, are you talking about the speech that Hottie did, or the speech that Chris Bumstead did? I don't know if you heard what happened there. Dave, okay. Ramy looked in better shape in his Instagram pics a couple weeks before compared to the pics I saw on stage. Lucky, okay, yeah, he was lucky to get fifth. I could have seen other people go up above Ramy, but he obviously did enough. Ancient One, nice to see you. Okay, and the Chilji. Okay, Francia Matos is so beautiful. She knocked everyone out. So anyone here doesn't know Francia. So women's wellness division explodes. Like the competition was crazy, but she blows people out of the water. I mean, the way, now I've not seen her training videos because I don't follow them because I'm not really a, sorry, did I say fitness? Wellness. If I said fitness, my apologies, guys. Wellness, Francia Wellness. She looked amazing. Well deserved. And yeah, she's a really good talent. Very beautiful, I agree. Very beautiful. H1, I can't handle the strawberry one, something about the chemical flavoring. Actually, I didn't get the strawberry one. I asked for a mixed pack, but that's okay. I don't care. It's just, now that you said it's not that great, Ancient One, because you and I are kind of like on the same wavelength. If you didn't like it, I probably wouldn't like it. Milk Classic is my favorite. Yes, 4. S-Force. Okay, cool. Classic, you know, the nice thing about Classic is that I think it's more attainable for people. Not to say that it would be easy to look like Chris Bumstead by any stretch, but you know, that kind of shape, overall shape, is a little bit more attainable than, let's say, the open guys. Now, I'm not saying all the open guys are 300 pounds, but to do that kind of poundage, you know, it's on your joints, your ligaments, the stuff. Now, they don't always take a lot of stuff. Some of them are just genetically gifted, and they don't need much. But you're still like the toll on your body, and like I said, the stress that you have to put on your body to get big. Hats off, and I have a lot of respect for people who make that choice. Sorry, guys, let me just turn off the ringer on my phone. I'm getting pinged here. Why do I always get pinged when I'm online? Okay, here we go. So you won't be bothered. So yeah, Classic is a great division, and I think Chris is a great ambassador of it. He doesn't need to compete, guys. He's not doing it for the money. His other businesses probably make more money. I don't know. I mean, I'm not his accountant. I don't know for sure, but his other businesses probably make more money than what he won at the Olympia. He does it because he loves the challenge. And I think, you know, he's like I said, a great ambassador of the sport. S-Force. Thank you, Melt, for clarifying that. Alaric, he does look good now. Also, that was just one of my favorite eras for him. Oh, I love his personality. Yes, he is a great guy. Yeah, Vert for Lee Priest. Yes. And Hottie. Yes. Lee 2023 Masters. We'll see. Milt, it's going to be next year. And I think, did I see it was Romania? I want to say it's Romania in August, but I'm not 100%. But I believe if you Google it, it is there. I want to guess it's Romania in August for Masters. Would Lee do it? I think he could. It's a matter of does he want to. because we've all seen, remember when he went from eating his little chocolate bars and he cleaned up his diet and he dropped fat like that, like just so quick. He's still a genetic freak, and again, I'm saying that with a lot of love. I think he could do it. I think he would do really, really well. Dexter Jackson has made it pretty damn clear that he is not going to compete again. So I don't think he would be in that lineup. But it'd be interesting to see who else, who's retired. And I'm not saying it would just be the people who are retired to do the Masters, but I wonder, who would you guys want to see in the Masters next year that have retired? Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see a lot of them, but I don't know how many would actually do it. I don't know. How old is Kai? Does anyone know how old Kai is? I don't remember. He may not be, because is Masters considered in the Olympia, at least for this Masters, is it considered 45 and up? I forgot to look at that. Milt, I want to do a local master show in 2 years now. It'll be classic. Cool. That's great, Milt. I think it's good to have some type of goal. And for me, it's nice for me to have a goal because I can work towards something and I have something tangible. If I have I'm just going to be healthy or try to eat healthy, but don't have a goal, for me, I slide off of it. Now, at one point, I am going to retire. So that will be a little bit different, but my goals will be different as well. But I like having a goal. So 2 years, it'll give you time to build that lean muscle mass because it does take time. And I would recommend you work with a coach. Now, Mel, I don't know if you have a coach right now, but I don't usually tell people get a coach and then go into prep. I usually tell people get a coach in your off season so they can help you in your off season to keep you accountable so you don't blow up too much when you stay on track. It gives you that accountability, but also you'll have time for him to get to know your body with your trainer, male or female, he or she, get to know your body, and then maybe even do a mock prep. Mock prep meaning you're not doing the show, but you go through the motions to see how your body responds to the routine, because how one person, and we use the word peaks, meaning that you end up going on stage in the best conditioning, looking round and full and that kind of thing. That's what you want. Someone's protocol on how they peak might be eating rice cakes. Another might be eating a Snickers bar. Another person might be having rice. Like it's good to have time to practice this before the actual show. But just something to keep in mind, Mel. Now, because you're 2 years out, there's no rush to get a coach right now. But I would say, don't wait till you go into prep and then get a coach. Get a coach in your off season to help keep you accountable, even if you don't meet with the coach as much. So let's say whether it be once a week, once every 2 weeks, just so you have kind of a little bit of a check-in and accountability and direction. All right, so let me see. I want to make sure I get all the questions. Hey, Raul, how you doing? Are you currently on a cut? Raul, I just did the amateur O, so no, I have been eating. I'm actually, after this, I'll be cooking chicken, rice, and Brussels sprouts. And then if I have time, I'm going to do some lean ground beef and fish, or I'll do that tomorrow. So I want to get back on plan. Not a plan as in a cut per se, but to lose some of the extra food I've been eating Olympia weekend since the show. Because I've been eating once the show was done, let's just say I had some sugar, a lot of sugar. So I actually ordered, most normal people might order a cookie. Not me. I ordered a cookie pie. So let me explain what that is. So it's about this big. It's about that thick. So I bought 2 of these pies. One was turtle ingredients. The other was apple, like an apple crumble kind of thing. So I wouldn't say that's exactly healthy, wasn't. But I will say I got, and I don't know if you've ever had this, I call it the sugar buzz. So what I mean by that is because I was in prep for so long, I was not eating any sugar. So once I started eating this cookie pie, and yes, it's gone. And I had it with a glass of milk, which was divine. And I nuked it in the microwave just a little bit so it would melt. It was really good. But my body got flooded with sugar and I started getting this headache. So do you guys ever have a sugar headache? And maybe you don't. Just that for me, because I was away from sweets for so long and I introduced a large quantity of this with this pie, I had this little buzz going on. So it wasn't alcohol, it was sugar. So, yeah. Does that mean I was drunk on sugar? I'm not sure. But anyway, it was really good. So I will, once these shows are released for next year, and I figure out, because remember, I don't know if you guys know, I'm in Canada for 6 months and I'm in the States in the US for 6 months. So unless I'm able to get a work visa, I need to go back to Canada. So I have to plan. If there's a show and I'm in Canada, I have to make sure it's a Canadian show. So that will play into it as well. So I can't pick my show right now, but I'm going to be in my off season for a little bit. I also want to put on some lean muscle tissue. Because I'm in women's physique, I do need to put on more muscle. Never hurts. And go from there. So I want to make sure. Okay. Oh, Livroni. Yeah, Livroni. I don't know if he would come back, Milt, to the he had a great physique though. He's another one with blessed genetics, but Kevin Livroni would be really interested to see in the Masters. Would he? I don't know. A lot of these guys, once they've retired, they're in a healthier state. So they've downsized, which is to be expected, and they're healthier. But would they consider going back to the Masters? I don't know, but it would be interesting to see. Oh, Lee, nice to see you. Okay. No disrespect to other divisions. Open should be on during primetime hours, 8 to 9 Eastern. The Super Bowl would never start and finish at the same time as the Open did. Okay, so Lee, you bring up a good point. For the guys to go on that late, I think it's a disaster waiting to happen. Because usually, and there's exceptions, but usually as time goes on through the day, the body can go flat. So the perfect time is actually in the morning, believe it or not, or early in the afternoon. The earlier in the day, the better. Now, again, some bodies can actually peak better in the evening. Again, it's kind of a genetic thing. But like I said, that floor and the backstage was really cold, which can flatten you out too. What they wanted to do, because what I've been doing, I've been watching a lot of the bodybuilding podcasts, is that they have most of the women on Friday for the pros. For the guys, they have the men's open prejudging. And then on the Saturday is the men. So they want to separate the men and the women and the men, which is fine. The reason why they had the open where on the same day, at least the pre-judging, was for ticket sales, because they wanted to ensure ticket sales were higher on the Friday because not as many people watch the women as the men. But there's two potential solutions to this. Because of the number of categories now in women, it's more popular. So I don't think you even need the men. I don't mean at all. I'm talking about on the Friday. So do literally just the women, all the women on Friday and all the men on Saturday, with the men doing prejudging, let's say first thing in the morning, as an example. That's one possibility. The other possibility is if they want to, and by the way, peaking twice is no picnic. I dread 2-day shows. One, it's hard to peak twice, but two, for women, not for men, but for women, we have to pay double for hair and makeup because we have to have it done twice on 2 different days. So it's a lot more costlier for women. Anyway, that aside. The other option is men go first and then do the women on Friday. So it's having the men go on earlier, for sure, if they do it Friday or Saturday. But either have them, like I said, all the women on Friday and all the men on Saturday, or the men's open first, then do the women. And then the men can do their finals on Saturday. So just a thought. I don't know if the powers that be are aware of this, but I'm sure that they have to figure out a better system, because going on at 11 at night is really tough, because you're backstage and you don't know when you're going to go on, and things got delayed. Things didn't start on time. And granted, this is a big production. Okay. This is no easy thing. And there were some little hiccups that happened. And the live stream for me was very frustrating, because I ended up getting some, it wasn't clear, it would cut out, and all of a sudden it would come back in again. So the quality wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. But overall, it was a very exciting Olympia, because I had no idea what was going to happen. But I did have a gut feeling Rami was not going to win. I didn't know exactly who. I thought Andrew Jack was going to place higher. My understanding is that he, no, I don't know if it was bronchitis or something else, but he got sick. Apparently, now Hani, I don't know if you guys watch the Truth podcast, that's Hani's podcast. He said he was going to do it on the next podcast, the reason why they almost pulled Derek out of the Olympia. Why? I don't know. He alluded to that in the press conference, or was it the Saturday? No, sorry, the Sunday, when they get together on the Sunday and seminar, the Saturday seminar, or Sunday seminar. He was alluding that they almost pulled Derek out of the show, but he said he would explain why in the Truth podcast. So keep an eye out for that. Logan Franklin didn't make it. And there was some speculation why that was going on. So what the actual truth is, I don't know. If you guys know, feel free to post it in the chat. But it was disappointing not seeing Logan, because Logan's a good guy, and he usually does a really good routine. So I was kind of looking forward to it, because I like watching the routines, both the males and the females. Let's say, Kai is 42. Okay, so if Kai is 42, and if Masters is 45, then Kai can't compete in the Masters Olympia. I don't even know if he wants to, but that's good to know. Grunge Truck, the similar strategy to boxing. Yeah. Do you ever eat fast food? Raul, are you kidding me? Yes, I do. So what did I have? Hold on. Was it yesterday or today? Hold on. I had spring rolls. Let's see if I can show you a picture. Hold on. If you guys think I eat healthy all the time, I eat healthy, yes. But when I'm not in prep, no, I don't know if you can see that. Those are called spring rolls. Darn, with this reflection, you can't really see them, can you? Can you see them? Okay, those are spring rolls anyway. And then, what did I have? I had a dragon roll. I meant to take a picture, but I ate too fast, so I forgot to take a picture. Sorry, guys. And then this dessert. Okay, I'm getting really bad. Okay, this is like, can you see it? Okay, so let me explain what it is. Okay, sorry guys, can't show you too well. It's an apple strudel with some vanilla ice cream. So now, if you're saying fast food like McDonald's, I usually crave other things. Not to say I wouldn't have McDonald's, but I usually would have something else. But was there something specific when you're saying fast food? Like, would I have a burger? Sure, I'd have a burger. And actually, sweet potato fries. I love sweet potato fries. And don't forget the dessert. Smeg, nice to see you, Smeghead. Sugar Rush. You cannot imagine. When I ate that sugar, it was just, I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Because I was looking forward to it. And I was like, the next day it was the same thing, because I had the other pie, because I bought two. I feel like sometimes it causes inflammation. Raul, if you're talking about sugar, yes, it does cause inflammation. That's why I am cooking chicken, rice, and Brussels sprouts. and some extra lean ground beef and some fish. I need to get my body cleansed of all the crap I've been eating. See, what I would be doing is I didn't eat crap every meal. So I would have, let's say, some chicken and rice, and then I'd have a bunch of sugar. I have this little body, but I can put away a lot of sugar. So I need to get some clean days under my belt. I'm going to probably return to doing some cardio, and maybe next week I'll hit the weights, and I'll just kind of gradually build up to it. And Flex Genetics. Yeah. Flex has good genetics too, but I know for sure, Flex is done. Flex has got to focus on his businesses, and he's a great ambassador of sport, but he's done and he wants to focus on his family. And while I would have loved to see him open, because remember, he was a 212. You were talking about 212s earlier. I would have loved to see him up there. What would he have looked like this past weekend? I have no idea, but I would have loved to see it. But again, I respect Flex's decision to work on, he wants to focus on the businesses, his health, the family, and I truly wish him the best. But from a selfish standpoint of wanting to have seen what he would have liked, what Flex would have looked like in open, that would have been cool. Nick did well, as you said he would. Yeah, Nick looked really good. He was conditioned. He was round. His waist could have been a little smaller, but I know he's been working on it. And when you have that much muscle, and I don't know, maybe this is a bone structure thing, he may not be able to get his waist any smaller. But I know he's been working on vacuums, and again, he's a really cool guy. I want the best for Nick. But will he win? As long as there are people that are shaped and conditioned, I don't know if he'll ever win the Olympia. Now, could he win the Arnold next? That's a different question. I think he could. I think he could win a lot of Arnolds. So obviously I'm not Nick, but the Arnold isn't that far away. Was it March? If he wanted to, he could, I think, win the Arnold. That's just my personal opinion. But if you guys have any thoughts, feel free to share them too. Let's see, in the chat. Milt, I find it amazing how the body can react to something as small and cold as something as small as a cold floor, but makes total sense. Yeah, you know what? And the thing is that Milt, you said I would definitely wear a sock. You're not allowed to bring anything backstage, like not your phone, no slippers, because they can't be responsible for anything. So once you pass a certain doorway, everything's left and it's just you. So you can't bring a blanket. You can't bring slippers. You can't bring your phone, nothing. So socks are definitely out. But yeah, it was cold backstage for sure. And like I said, guys, you got the cold backstage where it feels like this big air conditioner blowing unit. Plus, then you've got the cold cement floor that you're standing on. And then you're waiting in line on. So every time you take a step, it's another step. Just when you kind of warm up the floor where you are standing, if you take a step forward, you get cold feet again. So it is what it is. The positive thing about that is that everybody's exposed to the same circumstances. So it's not like some people are allowed to wear slippers and other people are not. Everyone has to go through the same kind of conditions. The difference is some people respond better than others under those conditions. But you do your best. If you get focused on those little things, it can really derail you up here. And it's about really focusing on what you can control, what you've practiced, trusting your skills, trust in the process, and do your best, because you can't do better than your best. And there was a lot of guys and girls that were disappointed because they didn't repeat their winnings. I mean, Chris did, obviously, but there were people that did not repeat. And there were people who thought they would place higher than they did. So there's going to be a lot of disappointed, for understandable reasons, athletes right now that are going through post-show blues. I hope they reach out to me or someone like me to get the support. Dave and I did do a show with Jamie Johal about post-Olympia blues. So hopefully they'll have a chance to check that out. But it's about ensuring people that, as disappointing as it can be, because it can be, or let's say your peak didn't go properly, or a whole bunch of things can go wrong. Remember why you're doing this. We all want to win. Don't get me wrong. We all want to win, but there can only be one winner. How fast do you bounce back? What's your goal next time? How do you realign your strategy? Maybe you need to renegotiate your why, because your why in your 20s might be different than your 30s, might be different than your 40s, might be different than your 50s. Goes on. Your why may change with time. It's important to be able to define your why. And also, and this isn't just for bodybuilders, this is any athlete. Too many times, athletes put their identity, as far as how they perceive themselves, their confidence, in their win-loss record. So what do I mean by that? If they win, pat on the back, I'm a good person. If they lose, crap, I'm a horrible person. There's that negative self-talk. No, that just wasn't your day. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means it wasn't your day. But guess what? There's another day. Are you going to be there to fight it? That's the question. Now you've got a choice. So are you going to choose to focus on how bad it felt? Or are you going to allow yourself a little bit of grieving to get out of your system and then do the Control-Alt-Delete thing? So a reboot of, okay, what's my new strategy? What's my plan? So like I said, when the schedule is officially finally, like the full schedule is released, people can make plans. Now, they might say, I need to take time off. I need to get a lot bigger. I'm going to take 2023 off and compete in 2024. Okay, cool. You got a plan now. But when you finish a show and you're lost and you're not sure what to do next, that can be dangerous. Because then it's screaming so loud. Can you guys hear me? I'm getting a message that it's reconnecting. My connection isn't so good right now, so hopefully you can hear me. But I want people to be able to have an identity outside of how they perform, because they are people. We're athletes, but we're we're individuals as well. We're not just athletes. That's an important part, but we're also more than that. So for us, we could be like a spouse. We could be a mother. We could be a father. We could be a daughter of somebody. We can be a friend. We can be, a coach or a mentor for somebody. We can be a student of somebody. Like, there's a lot more to our identity or what we like to achieve than just being an athlete. Keep in mind, there are a lot of bodybuilders who have retired, who have built businesses, and they never won. They never won the show. But they were respected because they handled themselves with class. They show that they're hard workers. They can post important stuff on the internet where people can benefit from it if they wish to follow it, whether it be a diet program, whether it be exercises, tweaking, that kind of stuff. If they're helping people, and people, because people, that's what we want. We want to be able to learn how to be better, right? So I find people are more likely to listen to people that they can trust. And if you've never heard of a person, then you might be a little bit wary. I wonder if they're legit or not. But if you see them posting, whether it be every day, every other day, once a week, but they're, again, consistent, you seem like good people and they're putting out good content, then that might be a good source for you to consider. Does that mean you have to do absolutely everything they're suggesting? No, you can kind of pick and choose what works for you and try it. So, was there anything else people want to ask? Okay, so thoughts on Vince Goodrum's physique in his prime. I don't know who Vince Goodrum's is, so sorry, Raul, I can't address that because I don't know. I don't know that guy, but Milt does. So Milt, maybe you can address Raul's thing about Vince. So Smeg, you were saying, agreed, you don't want to fall into a negative feedback loop that ends up feeding itself. And Smeg, that is so easy to do. because a lot of times we are our worst enemies and we pick ourselves apart and we lose perspective, and all we do is focus on the negative when we don't celebrate any of the positives. It would be easy just to focus on the negatives, especially if you didn't place the way you wanted to, or if you weren't able to present the body that you had maybe a few days ago and you didn't peak properly, or whatever that the case might be. It'd be easy to go in a negative headspace. Or you can say, okay, what did I learn from that so I don't repeat that in the future? And let me enjoy this. Let me enjoy this, whether it's cheering on other divisions, whether it's going to the expo, showing support, like yelling for athletes, because it's not an easy road for anybody. Whatever that support might be, why not get into it? Share it, be in that spirit. That's great. I think it's great. It's very positive to encourage other people. This isn't just for females, but I think I remember a quote, and it was probably on Instagram, but saying that a true queen adjusts other queens' crowns. So what that means is that they don't look down upon other people, even if they do well. They boost other people up. And again, this isn't just for females. I think this should happen for males as well, just for anybody. What's wrong with an encouraging word? I mean, I think we can all use an encouraging word every now and then. Because there's a lot of negativity out there. You pick and choose. You can't choose if someone's going to say something really negative to you. But what you can do is choose whether or not you suck that information in, whether you take it in, whether you adopt it, or you say, nope, that's not me. It's unfortunate they didn't take the time to get to know me or whatever, but they're entitled to their opinion. I don't have to agree with them. And frankly, I don't have to spend any more time on that because I know me. I know what I've put into this. So have some positive self-talk, guys. And if you guys have questions on how to do that, because we're not taught that in school, I really wish we were. If I could have a bodybuilding school, I'd be teaching bodybuilders on avoiding social media, or how to use social media more in a smart way. Because I appreciate some people have to be on social media, let's say to fulfill some obligations with sponsors, or they're trying to get their name out there. There are better ways of doing it, and not just posting for the sake of posting. So social media is not. And then following people when you get closer to the show. If you're the type of person and that motivates you, great. But if that deflates your ego, are you aware that a lot of pictures, I'm not saying every picture, but a lot of pictures are filtered and people don't actually look like that? And let's say, for the sake of argument, you see your competitor X, whoever that is, and they look phenomenal. And this is, let's say, 3 days out from the show. Let's say it's not filtered. Do you have any idea how much can go wrong from 3 days before the show to the moment they step on stage? Anything can happen, like a cold floor, like a carb up that didn't go properly, like spilling over, like being so stressed they're retaining some water. So it's not that they're fat, they're retaining water because of the stress. There's a lot can go on. So I tell people, focus on you. Focus on your game, your lane. You want to beat Rami? My best advice is go for conditioning. You won't be as big as Rami, but if you bring in good conditioning and good muscle mass and deep separation, I think look at, and God bless Sean Roden. I think Sean could have beat Hottie. And again, I have nothing against Hottie. But with your muscle mass, you have to have some. But it's the conditioning, the deep conditioning that beat Rami on top of some solid muscle, mature muscle, dense muscle. And that's Hottie all day. So I think it was a well-deserved win for Hottie. Very happy for him. Happy for Derek, too. He got second, and obviously happy for Nick. Even though Nick doesn't have the same kind of shape, he trains. He's a freak. And again, I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. I have a lot of respect for Nick. He trains hard. There's no question. If anyone has ever seen any of his videos, the guy trains hard. He also is very strict on his diet. So again, I have a lot of respect for someone who's able to be so disciplined, because it's not easy. But I do think Nick, if not that he would be watching my podcast, but I do believe Nick should consider doing the Arnolds. Just my 2 cents. You have to have some lines. Yes, no, I agree. You have to have some lines, and ideally, the deeper the lines, the more dense your muscle, the better. And the thing is, that's why I also think Derek was second, not because he didn't look great, because no question, he was conditioned too, but he didn't have the density of muscle. No, he has muscle. Okay, let me just be very specific here. When you compare Hadi and you compare Derek, they both have really good conditioning. I think Hadi's conditioning was a little sharper. So if I could give, not to say again, Hadi's way better as a coach than I would be to coach Derek on that. This is to bring Derek's conditioning in just a little bit and work on density of muscle. And how do you work on density? Time. And Derek's got time. And now that he doesn't have to suck into a certain weight class, he can let his weight do whatever it wants. And if you saw him in his off season, he still had abs. And like I said, Hadi is a really good coach. So, kudos to obviously Hani, but kudos for the guys for following the program, because it's not an easy program. But they win. They win because they follow the plan, and it's not easy to follow the plan. It's easy to follow a plan for a short period of time, but these guys followed a plan for, like, I don't know how many months they were in prep. But like I said, even in their off season, they're very disciplined, very disciplined. So we'll see. And we'll see what happens next year. Who knows what's going to happen next year? So I think people are speculating already. But yeah, it's going to be the first week of November in Orlando, Florida. Location, I'm not sure. I'm only guessing it'd be the same as it was last year, but I don't know 100%. But we'll see. I'm sure they'll announce it as well as with the specific dates. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you have any questions, just drop them into the chat. Other than that, I really appreciate you guys joining me today. Dave and I didn't do an iron therapy because iron therapy we do at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. Vegas time, which is where I'm at. And I had to check out of the hotel, and I had to do a lot of packing. So I asked Dave if we can do it another day this week. We'll see about our schedules, but if we can't get another iron therapy in this week, then we'll try to do it for next week. So we're not disappearing. With the holidays and with the Olympia, things might get skipped a little bit, but we will be back on a regular schedule for sure in January once the holidays are done. But we'll try to get some episodes in here and there, and I'll still do my live. So if you guys have any questions or ideas for topics, feel free. I wouldn't say post them in the chat right now because I'm about to close the chat, but in the messages below. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up, or just do the subscribe button. I think you actually have to do the bell, because someone told me they subscribed but they weren't notified, so you have to do subscribe and click the bell. Again, I'm not tech savvy, so you guys probably know more about that stuff than I do. But yeah, give it a thumbs up, because I want other people to be able to access this material, to be able to benefit from it, because that's why I do this. I want to help other people. So, I'm not one of those people that needs like 1,000, or 2,000 or 1,000,000 or whatever it is followers. I just want people who actually enjoy the content and use it to some degree. So, no, thank you for this live. I've enjoyed it very much. I'll talk to you soon. Merry Christmas. Yeah, and Merry Christmas to all of you guys. So we are in the 19th, so Christmas is coming up. I hope you guys, now they say it's the merriest time of the year. From experience, I know from a lot of my clients, it's a nightmare for many people. So if you are struggling with the holidays, don't hesitate to contact me. Send me a DM and we can work together. I can provide you some support, some tools, because I do appreciate the holidays are not an easy time. Now, I won't necessarily, if you text me now, I wouldn't necessarily be able to do right away, but I'll try to get you in. We just have to schedule it. So if you need that support, let me know. We can work. I can send you my FAQ email, which has my rate and booking instructions, and we can go from there. Other than that, I want to wish you all a very healthy, and when I mean healthy, I'm not saying you have to eat like spinach and chicken and stuff like that. Healthy in the respect of you're not going to get sick. Happy, joyous, relaxing vacation. Hopefully there's not too much drama, family drama. If there is, we can always talk about it on the next Q&A. But you guys have been great. I really appreciate your support. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And remember to keep your mental game on. Take care, guys. Bye for now.